The next thing we want to talk about will be velocity. Again, we have talked about the existence of an object. Okay, so this object existence, or object's existence, is determined by our ability to measure its mass, which is going to be in kilograms, to measure its time, or to measure a time that something changes about this object. This is going to be in seconds. And to measure its position, which is going to be in terms of meters. Okay? Last time, what did we talk about? We actually talked about speed. This time, we're going to talk about another quantity. It's similar to speed. Speed is actually the magnitude of this quantity. And this quantity is velocity. And velocity is displacement which is a vector over time. Now look, we have velocity. Since displacement is a vector, that means that velocity is as well a vector. All right? So velocity is deriving its vector nature from displacement, which we've already defined. Okay? I didn't do a real good job at defining displacement if I think about it. Let's just say we have ourselves an axis here, and let's call this axis the x-axis. It could be the y-axis, it could be the z-axis, but in this case it's just the x-axis. Let's say we start with 0, and we have 1, 2. And if I'm going to talk about displacement, I'm talking about this, and this is what we're really talking about in many cases. We rarely are talking about distance. It depends on what we're trying to measure. If we're trying to measure the length of a wall, oh, hey, great, that's the distance. I don't really care which direction I'm measuring it. But in this case, if I start at 0 and then I move to 2, let me use a different color marker. See, I start at 0 and I move to 2. My displacement is going to be 2 in the positive direction. And in this case, let's just say that we're operating in meters. So this is going to be 2 meters in the positive x direction. How do we represent that? Well, we just leave a plus sign in front. Typically, we don't have to write a plus sign at all to represent positive. So it would be 2 meters in the positive direction. If we actually went in the opposite direction, and we were to draw the same thing, this is -1, -2, the way we represent this portion, the way we would represent the red will be as -2 meters. So the negative sign just represents the opposite direction, all right? The positive sign represents the direction that we considered at first, okay? So if we consider, typically we're going to say the positive sign on a number is going to represent the right side. We're going to say that the negative sign on a number is going to represent the left side, okay? So this is very common to you already. It's found in the number line, and we use it already, okay? So velocity is displacement over time. So not only will it have this magnitude of 2, but it will also move in the positive direction. So if an object is here, and then all of this, and then after a couple of seconds, it's here, its velocity is moving to the right, and it has a certain magnitude, all right? So that's how we're defining velocity. We define speed, velocity, mass, time, and position. So you can see that all of these things are so related and they're connected to one another.